Hello and welcome back to Pakistan Explorer. Today we are going to discuss something that has happened in the last summers, the summers of 2022, which saw one of the biggest influx of climbers coming down in Pakistan trying to climb most of the peaks in Karakorum. And obviously, a major chunk of these climbers were intending to climb K2. In fact, in July, I think 20th of July, saw 150 climbers heading to the top of K2, which is by far the biggest numbers of climbers ever being on top of K2. Now, if you consider the total number of climbers who have been on top of K2 ever in the history is less than somewhere around 500, and about 200 climbers made it to the top of K2 in 2022, which is by far the biggest numbers, and I guess it's about more than 30% of the total climbers ever been on top of K2 in history. That this percentage climbed K2 in 2022. But obviously, around 1,500 climbers came to Pakistan last summers. Also on Nangaparbat, which is the western offshoot of Himalayas, and obviously the four 8,000ers in the Karakorums as well. Then they were K4, and some were heading for Lela Peak, and a lot of different peaks were climbed. But obviously, this kind of influx has its repercussions, and the mountains were completely ruined by this influx, by this hordes of climbers heading to the top. This has been happening in Nepal. Everest is one mountain that has seen a lot of garbage over the years, and the climbers have been irresponsible in terms of the fact that they were supposed to bring down the garbage with them, leave it on the base camp. So the agencies, for example, in Pakistan, which is the Central Karakoram National Park, the agency that takes care of all the Baltoro Glacier and all the peaks surrounding it. They're supposed to, take care of all the garbage and the trash. They're supposed to haul it back to Ascoli, where they have installed incinerators and where they burn all this trash and everything. But a lot of agencies as well as climbers apparently did not bring that garbage down to the base camp, which definitely has left the mountain in really, really bad shape. For a mountain like K2, for instance, like Camp 1 and Camp 2, even in Camp 3, there is hardly enough space to pitch a tent, because most of the mountain is at 45 degrees to 60 degrees of slope, and Camp 1 and Camp 2 particularly, there's not enough space to pitch tents, and obviously such a large number of climbers, if they're heading to the top, there are going to be large number of tents, and there's not enough space for to pitch the tents. Not just that, they have to melt the ice to make water, and obviously they have to consume a lot of water as compared to the normal life, because they have to keep themselves hydrated, and it keeps you safe from frostbite and a lot of things. So when they have to melt the ice, they have to be careful from where they're getting their ice, because the toilets are supposed to be one designated area in every camp where all the climbers have mutually agreed that this place is going to be the toilet place. And but when they're not careful with how they're using and how they're defecating, high winds can blow everything around. And this has happened with Don Bowie, the Canadian climber who was trying to climb Broad Peak back in 2021, July 2021, and he was accompanied by Lotta Hintsa, who's a Swede model as well, and she's an excellent climber as well. And this has happened with Don Bowie because when they reached Camp 2, they collected ice from places they were not sure of because there was so much trash and garbage all over the place. And apparently they did try to collect the ice from the right place to be careful what they're getting in their pans and everything, but apparently the wind has blown the Faeces all over the place, and most of the snow was already covered with the human defecation, and Don Bowie actually contracted dysentery. He was throwing up badly. He was, he had bad stomach and everything, and he had to be evacuated from base camp by the Pakistan Army helis. And this is the kind of scenario which is going to be, hopefully not, but this is what is going to be more frequent in the coming years. Because apparently the climbers who are coming to climb are not really concerned with the mountain itself. Their target is the summit. Their target is a Facebook picture or the Instagram picture on top of the summit. And these climbers not just are not careful with what they're consuming on top of the mountain, but they're also not really sure of how they're supposed to bring their trash down to the base camp. As you can see these pictures from the last year, a lot of fixed rope was left on the high camps, and a lot of tents and gear and oxygen cylinders, and a lot of things were left on top of the mountain. Camp 1, Camp 2 were really in bad shape. In fact, the US climber Sarah Stratton, she said, like, I was shocked by the garbage that I've encountered on K2 this year. And she says that waste from past and present expeditions have piled up everywhere. Climbers are simply camping right on top of old gear, excrement, tents, used food packaging, fuel cans, etc. And so the CKNP, the Central Karakorum National Park, decided to do their bit, because I think they collect just a very small amount of money from these climbers in terms of cleaning the mountain, in terms of hauling the gear back to back to Scully. And this amount is really insufficient to the kind of cleanup campaign requires to clean the mountains after the climbing expeditions. And these climbers who were designated with the task to clean K2 in particular made it all the way to Camp 4, which is not an ordinary task at all. And they tried to haul as much garbage back to the base as possible, and they were able to collect about 1.6 tons of garbage from high camps. Now, about all the 8,000 peaks in Pakistan produce between 15 to 20 tons of solid waste per year. This is a huge amount of waste that is piling up on the mountains, considering the fact that Baltoro is the glacier which is the source of fresh water for the rest of the country. And this is actually the drinking water as well for most part of the country. And this is what actually provides water to most of the rivers in Pakistan as well. And from this 15 to 20 tons of solid waste per year, about 86% is generated from K2, which means that if you're just able to clean K2, if you're just able to haul back all the garbage from K2 itself, you're taking care of most part of the problem. But which is obviously is not easy, especially the kind of financial and economic situation Pakistan is right now. The floods in the summers have had a big toll on the economy and everything. At Everest Base Camp, people urinate around 4,000 liters at the base camp. So if you can scale it down for the K2 base camp, probably this is going to be somewhere around 2,000 liters, all going and mixing with the fresh water of the Baltoro Glacier, and which is absolutely horrendous in terms of what people are consuming downstream in Pakistan. And obviously, with every adversary, there are people who find opportunities, and there have been agencies, Nepali agencies, I don't want to take names, big names. They committed to carry out this cleanup K2 campaign back in 2022 as well as in 23. They were asking for funds from across the world for this cleanup campaign. They posted some videos and some pictures of high camps on their social media in order to generate a lot of funds, which I suppose they did, the kind of following they have on their social media. But none of these campaigns actually saw the light of the day. And which is very sad because people actually donated money that this disaster can be averted, but nothing was done about it. And later on, these agencies, these people actually deleted the fundraising posts from their social media, which obviously tells you the kind of intention they had from day one. Poland's Janusz Gulab is a famous climber, legendary climbers, couple of high summits to his credit, as well as a lot of winter expeditions as well. He wrote on his social media as well. In the video, you can see that these are tents from the agencies. Agencies take quite a lot of money for garbage disposal, and now they reach for more money to clean up for after themselves. Very interesting. And obviously, there was a backlash from the climbing community from across the world on these social media fundraising campaigns, after which they were deleted and nothing was done in terms of cleaning the mountains. Also, Pakistan has increased the climbing fee for the mountains. They have increased the climbing fee for K2 and rest of the 8,000ers in Karakorum as well as nangaparbat in the Himalayas. But I think they need to increase the charges for the cleanup campaigns. And they already are charging a little bit of amount from every climber which goes for cleaning up the base camps and all that. There are evidences of how inappropriate the behavior have been of a lot of international expeditions. Like for instance, back in 2017 and 18, the Polish expedition for K2 was accused of leaving a lot of garbage at the base camp. A lot of pictures started circulating in the social media, so much so that the ace member of the team, Adam Biliski, had to come on camera and explain as to what has happened. He claims that we had already gathered up all the garbage. We have stored it in a safe place to be hauled back to Ascoli in summers, because in winters there are no transportation modes and people aren't coming to the base camp. The agency which was providing services to this Polish expedition also gave their explanation, but obviously there were pictures and a lot of hue and cry in the social media as to the inappropriate behavior of the Polish expedition. Then there was Mike Ferris back in 2005. He posted some pictures of the Spanish expeditions, which has left a lot of garbage at the base camp. So I think the best thing would be that people who are going to the base camps and who are trying to climb, or just trackers, keep an eye on these expeditions. So when they're packing up and leaving the base camps, they're supposed to be following the SOPs set by the government of Pakistan, the government of GB as well. Probably that's the only way we can take care of these mountains, keep them in pristine condition. And so this is about it, and thanks for watching. We'll be bringing in more content. If you like the kind of content we're producing, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot. Have a good day.